NJCIR, if I have it right. The IAJBS board was formed as it went along, and so did the N. And it was posted on the web. You can find it on the web. And also the CJBE folks. We had a session at CJBE in Milwaukee 2 weeks ago. So we got some feedback on it. But basically, when I finish here, I think the task force has done its job fully. And so it's to you all now. And now I'm for sure Tim and I would be doing it. Tim, we're spending $4 million in the next few years. Now I'm going to read to you what you will get in a sheet of paper when all the speakers have spoken. All on one page. This is the whole statement from the task force. We start off by stating our mission. We interpreted our mission to have two parts. One, to recommend a definition of sustainable development or global sustainability to the IAJBS members. And second, to recommend a strategic approach for the IAJBS members to take to the broad, integrated issues of sustainability. So that's what we saw our piece of work to do over the year. We came up with a recommendation that the IAJBS use the term global sustainability instead of sustainable development. And there's some reasoning behind that, which I won't go into right now, but very briefly, one of the problems with using the word development we found in our deliberations is an awful lot of people see that as growth, and growth is frequently not development. And some places of the world don't need to grow anymore, and other parts of the world need to grow some more. And so we wanted to get away from explaining the difference between development and growth. We wanted to emphasize the universality of the sustainability issue, not just across the world, but also across every part of our lives. So it's got social justice in it, it's got poverty in it, etc. So it's global in two senses. And so maybe it's not the right decision, but we came up with global sustainability as a term that we were more comfortable with than sustainable development. We recommend that definition. And we define it as global sustainability is the broad set of interconnected issues that encompass but are not limited to achieving environmental preservation, poverty eradication, social justice, desirable production and consumption patterns, species preservation, and spiritually rich lives at this time in our species' history on this planet. To realize or achieve global sustainability, we need to create socially just and spiritually whole ways for our species and all other species to thrive, quote, forever, unquote. Forever is in quotation marks because we know that there's a lot of reasons that forever ain't going to happen forever. But to capture a sense of long term permanence in some sense of our species. Strategic approach. We recommend that the IAJBS members continue and aggressively expand their focus on issues of global sustainability in the domains of teaching, research, service, and social activism, making our leadership in achieving global sustainability the recognized hallmark of our institution's next step on the path of changing the world that St. Ignatius and his spiritual brothers initiated more than 4.5 centuries ago. And I think a lot of you recognize Chris Lowry's book in there. Thank you very much. I'm right on schedule. Heroic Leadership Best Practices of a 450-year-old company that changed the world. And that very much influenced our phrasing. Plus, if you haven't read that book, you have an enormous treat ahead of you. It's just a delightful book. I've used it in class a bunch of times now. You just come into class on that. Tactical step 1. We recommend that the IAJBS members continue their acceptance of the 2009 World Forum recommendation that global sustainability be the central theme of each World Forum for the next 8-year, 10-year period total, with appropriate sub-themes selected by each year's host institution. And that gives us an opportunity as a set of institutions to keep moving forward on a common theme under which you put almost anything. Global sustainability covers just about everything you and I care about. Spirituality, social justice, poverty, etc. Because all of it's got to be in there if we're going to have a sustainable world. Step number 2, poverty eradication and commitments very important to all of us on the committee. We recommend that the IAJBS members be supported in continuing and increasing their efforts to eradicate global poverty and to increase the world's awareness that eradicating global poverty is a necessity for achieving a socially just, sustainable world. There is not a trade-off between global sustainability and poverty eradication. We ain't there if we don't eradicate poverty. So it's fundamental in our minds. Almost to the end. Technical step 3. We recommend that the IAJBS members take the public stand that climate change is not a theory or prediction about the future, but a demonstrated fact in today's world. The jury is in. It's not a matter of maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Maybe people are causing it, maybe they're not. It's done. That climate change has occurred throughout the world, and it will continue to occur with increasing impact in the foreseeable future. Removing the drivers of climate change must be a major aspiration of our species at this time. Now, for some of you, that's so obvious it's almost foolish to say it. In America, we have a tragedy of this becoming politicized in a way that boggles the mind that any sane person could have been saying some of the stuff that's been said. Not that I'm a little passionate about this. The last one. We recommend that IAJBS and each year's World Forum members provide leadership in creating a series of working teams to increase the capacities for and commitment of all IAJBS member institutions to this recommended global sustainability strategy. That at these sessions, you talk to folks around you and make some commitments about what you're going to do next year. If I had 5 more minutes, I'd say, pair off with somebody, I'd give you 1 minute to think, 1 minute for A to talk, 1 minute for B to talk, and share what you would most like to work on with other people over the next year. That's what I would do ahead of time. Topics for these working teams will include some of the many promising ideas that have come to the task force's attention during the past year, and others that will surely emerge. There's a whole bunch of ideas, but before I share any ideas, I would have come up with your own idea. This will be better than some of the ones we came up with. The last thing we did was 1 minute left? 2 minutes left. At CJ. 4 minutes. I thought you warned me. Did you give me a second? How much time left? 2 minutes left. 3 minutes left. We'll work it down till it's 1 minute, right? By negotiating? Okay. All right, then I'll just get a little bit more information. I could have done it 3 minutes if I looked better. Yeah. Okay, pair off. Pair off. Look at someone. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Turn the person next to you. Everybody pair off. Don't introduce yourselves. You don't have time. Okay. Now, if you could put together a bunch of working people from here to come up to move forward with something you care about in global sustainability, what would it be? Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. You have 1 minute to think about it. Actually, 42 seconds. Don't speak yet. What would you do? If you could really get people to work on it, this task force for me was a joy to work on. What would you do? Okay, they're talking over there. You can't involve some faculty members. Okay, now. Okay. Choose an A and a B. Use an A and one use a B. Ready? Okay. 45 seconds. Tell your partner. What would you do? Okay, now, one person spoke, now the other person speaks. You got 45 seconds and you're done. Okay, Thank you very much. Now you have permission to sit down. You're all good sports.